All right. Eastern Plan games happened. Let's talk about it. First up was the Heat and 76ers, and the Heat got heated. And I mean, I didn't mean that and they got angry. I mean that and they got destroyed by a random role player. And they got Nicholas Batum. It's the fourth quarter screaming, "Why the F Batum in?" Well, last night everyone was screaming, "Keep Batum in." He was 7 of 12 from the field, had 20 points, 6 of 10 from 3, 5 rebounds. He had a lot of important moments in this game and is basically the sole reason that the Sixers won it, especially down the stretch. Embiid played well down the stretch. He didn't play well most of this game. He only shot 6 of 17 from the field. He did get to the line 10 times, but that's going to be Embiid for you. He also got 15 rebounds, 5 assists, but he wasn't playing a good game. And then he made, I think, 3 shots down the stretch in the last 5 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that. And he sort of, rallied back, got better shots to fall, and led his team to getting better looks and the like. And also, Tyrese Maxey had an insane finish where I think what happened was he went to lay it up and then he tapped it in with his other hand, midair. Not like a putback, but it was just lay up and then tap in. It was like a volleyball set sort of thing. And that was crazy to watch, but this was an ugly game. We had Kelly Oubre shoot 3 of 9 from the field. Tobias Harris shot 4 of 10 from the field, including one sequence where I think he missed putbacks in a row off 4 offensive rebounds, and then he didn't even end up making one, and then the Heat got that and went the other way. Embiid shot 6 of 17. Kyle Lowry shot 3 of 10. Tyrese Maxey 6 of 16. And then, the bench shot well. Paul Reed 3 of 3. Batum 7 of 12. Buddy Hield 3 of 8. Cameron Payne 1 of 1. So they played pretty well. I wasn't the bench played pretty well. Overall, this game was ugly as hell. I'm surprised either team 100 points. And the Heat, on the other hand, were 5 of 18 from Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy kind of sucked in this game. He had a lot of steals and a few fast break buckets, but in the half court setting, he just was not making anything, and he did hurt his knee, so that might be a big contributing factor as to why. But I believe Shams said it was a MCL injury that's feared to have happened, and it happened. I thought he just knocked knees, but it happened when he pump faked, and then Kelly Oubre went to contest it, and I think it had looked like they bumped knees in the air, but I guess something more serious happened. He did end up playing the rest of the game, but he obviously was not himself. He shot 2 of 6 from 3, 7 of 8 from the line, had 19 points, so he wasn't productive, but 5 of 18 is pretty bad no matter who you are. Nikola Jovic shot 2 of 2, only played 14 minutes. Bam Adebayo shot 5 of 9 and was had 10 and 12. Didn't have many assists, so he wasn't super great, wasn't awful or anything. He had some shots that he hit that were big, but 10 points from Adebayo is less than you want to see. Caleb Martin had a couple of big buckets, shot 1 of 1 from 3, 2 of 3 from the field. He was just kind of there. Tyler Hero sucked. He was 9 of 27 from the field, 4 of 14 from 3, and he was truly Waiters Island last night. He was Dion Waiters incarnate because he was just letting that thing fly. I think the only shot I saw him pass up was an open 3 where he hesitated because he had missed 4 threes before that, and then passed to someone open on the top of the key. I think it was Jaime Jaquez, and he was just bad, man. Of course there were shots he hit. When you take 27 shots, you're going to make a few, but he just was not good, especially down the stretch. He just kind of shot them out of the game, I felt. But, when no one else wants to shoot, I guess shoot or shoot. Kevin Love shot 3 of 5, 2 of 4 from 3. He also did really well against Embiid when they went to that triangle in 2 zone. It's specifically meant to guard the lead ball handler and the big. And they went to that in the second quarter, and it really stumped the Sixers for a while. And Kevin Love was a big part of that because he was fronting Embiid. He was, successfully defending him for a large part of that. And the Sixers ended up making adjustments at halftime and rallied back, and that led to the game, which I think the Heat were up 13 at half, getting cut down to 1-2 points, and then they called a timeout. But at that point, the Sixers had found their rhythm because of free chicken. Actually, funny that I should think of that, because at the line, someone was at the line for the Heat, and the Sixers were like, "Hey, if these people miss 2 free throws in a row. Everyone gets free chicken. So that got the crowd pumping. That got the crowd going. And that kind of sparked the Sixers run, which was funny. Then you had Jaime Jaquez, which I think he was the best player for the Heat last night, like all around. He had 15 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. He was playing good defensively. He was doing stuff off the dribble. He hit a couple of his threes. Like, he was just solid, and I don't know if the Heat had a ton of, like, really solid performances, because a lot of it was ugly, like grinded out ball. Haywood Highsmith got 4 of 8 from the field, 9 points. DeLon Wright 2 of 7 from the field, 6. So, I mean, Sixers end up winning 105-104 just off the back of Batum. Still incredibly funny to me that it was Batum that did this to the Heat, because that is the Heat black magic. And yeah, so I think that the Heat might get beat by the Bulls next, because Jimmy is said to have an MCL injury, potentially, and Shams in his tweet said that it might keep him out indefinitely, which obviously would mean, hey, he's probably not playing on Friday. So, yeah, that's the Sixers Heat game. And to briefly touch on the Hawks Bulls game, which I didn't watch super closely. I did watch it, like, in the background, but I was doing other things, and I didn't figure this was going to be a super exciting game. And largely speaking, it wasn't. Bulls were basically just steamrolling the entire game behind Kobe White mainly. Shot 15 of 21, had 42 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He was great, man. Great defensively. He and Ayo Dosunmu made DeJounte and Trey work. DeJounte had a fine game. A pretty good game. He had 37 and 6 on 11 of 21 from the field. But Ayo Dosunmu, man, he is a menace defensively, and actually that was the first scouting report I ever made was on Ayo Dosunmu, and I thought he was going to be good defensively. So hey, sometimes I know ball. And he held Trae Young to 22 points and 10 assists, but he did that on 4 of 12 shooting, and he had 6 turnovers. So as far as Trae Young games go, that's a pretty rough game for Trae Young. DeAndre Hunter also shot 3 of 16. Capella had 22 and 17. Bogdan Bogdanovic had 21, 5 and 4 on 8 of 18. So, like, they didn't have bad performances across the board. This one was a lot more modern basketball than the Sixers Heat was. Sixers Heat was like early 2000s, 90s ball. This was actual, like, modern basketball. Bulls ended up winning 131-116. I think that, Bulls have put themselves into a good position to potentially advance to the 8 seed. They are potentially going against the Heat without Jimmy Butler, and that would be a matchup that I would probably pick them in. And the Hawks definitely need some change in the offseason. If you make the Bulls look good, you can't go into the next season with the same roster or even the same core. I would anticipate them trading one of Trae Young or DeJounte Murray, or maybe both. Like, if you were to trade Trae Young to the Spurs, get your own picks back, then I think you should trade DeJounte as well and see what you can get for, both of them. Get some draft capital in, get some good young players in. Just try and rebuild, because this obviously isn't working. But, yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening, guys. If you like this video, leave a like on the video, leave a comment. It really helps the video in the YouTube algorithm. If you're not subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button. I am only about 175 subs away from monetization, which would be big for me, and I hope to reach it by the end of the playoffs. We will see if that happens, but I think I can do it. If only you can prevent wildfires, and only you can get me to monetization.